Welcome to Horror Television. Today we'll be ranking all 8 films in the Conjuring universe as we gear up for the release of The Conjuring Last Rites, coming September 5th, 2025. Make sure to stick to the end as we talk all things Conjuring 4. Coming in at number 8. Directed by Corin Hardy, The Nun, released in 2018, is the 5th installment in the Conjuring universe, and is the first film in the chronological timeline. The Nun excels in atmosphere and visuals, which are undoubtedly its greatest strength. The gothic horror aesthetic, and the use of real-life locations, further enhanced an immersive and chilling experience. However, the plot is weak and fails to engage, leaving bearers confused and disconnected for much of the runtime. At times, the dialogue itself seems very humorous, and it borders on self-parody, clashing with the dark gothic tone established by the visuals. The pacing is the biggest issue and why it's last. Even the ending felt rushed and anticlimactic, while the twist at the end is intriguing and provides a solid connection to the first Conjuring film. It comes across as a recycled narrative device borrowed from another installment that executed it far more effectively. And for a film that's about the nun is hardly seen, and when she does appear, her once terrifying presence feels diminished. Directed by John Leonetti, released in 2014, this is the 2nd installment in the Conjuring universe, and the 4th film in the chronological timeline. This film needed time for me to understand and appreciate it more. It's still the weakest out of all, but there are some good moments. I enjoy the homages to Rosemary's Baby and the cult epidemic that went on in the 60s, which are a nice touch but bit on the nose. I feel this movie is more of a horror drama, which I think made the high expectations for this film after The Conjuring not met. The film plot is also thin, but not as weak as The Nun. It's better in keeping you involved and not feeling lost, but the pacing is a bit slow. The film struggles most with its cinematography and atmosphere. It feels and looks cheap, like a straight-to-home release, while I find it more compelling than The Nun. Both films share similar flaws and have faced disappointing reviews from fans and from critics. The connection to Annabelle creation gives this movie a bit of a boost, providing a satisfying link for fans and for me. Directed by Michael Chavez, released in 2021. This is the 7th installment in the Conjuring universe, and the last film in the chronological timeline to date. This is the first film in the main Conjuring series to not be directed by James Wan. You can feel his presence missing, but Michael still does a good job. This film takes the franchise into a new direction, blending supernatural horror with true crime drama. The film diverges from the haunted house formula and focuses on a real-life murder case of Arnie Johnson, who claimed demonic possession as his defense. While this changes the pace, it injects freshness, but it sacrifices the claustrophobic dread that defined the earlier films. This movie has the best opening in the universe. It starts with something that we're familiar with, an exorcism. It's super intense, and it gets a strong impression of what's to come. But for the rest of the movie, and even the ending, doesn't even come close to the intensity. It's the villain that weakens this film. The occultist, who is a human antagonist tied to satanic rituals, lacks the impact of the franchise's previous supernatural icons, which diminishes her threat, leaving this film without a truly memorable villain. But what could this film have been?
Don't give them the satisfaction.
Did you know that originally there was a demon for this film? His name was the Beast. He was the demon that was summoned by the occultist, and was the one that taunted and controlled David and Arnie. After test screenings, the demon seemed to be too complicated for the story and was later cut. I wonder what the film would have been like if it did have this demon. There was also supposed to be a post-credit scene for a potential spin-off. Was this demon supposed to be the next big thing? He still makes an appearance in the film, which you'll see in just a bit. Ultimately, The Devil Made Me Do It is still a solid entry in the Conjuring universe, but it's the weakest out of the main Conjuring films and sticks out from the rest of the universe. Directed by Gary Doberman, released in 2019. This is the 6th installment in the Conjuring Universe, and the 6th film in the chronological timeline. The film stands out as my favorite film in the Conjuring Universe stylistically, capturing the retro charm and aesthetics of the 1970s. It marks a solid directorial debut for Gary Doberman. The plot is one of the franchise's most fun and entertaining, shifting focus to the Warren's artifact room and introducing new supernatural threats, giving more than just Annabelle, and feels like a classic fun haunted house movie. That said, the tone leans heavily into a PG-13 teen horror vibe, despite the R rating, likely due to the franchise's first F-bomb.
Fuck it.
The humor, such as Bob's Got Balls, is more intentional than in The Nun. However, this comedic tone often undercuts the tension in horror. For me, the franchise struggles to balance horror and comedy effectively. I prefer the focus to remain on the scares, while the premise of exploring new artifacts had immense potential for a darker, more terrifying experience. The lighthearted, teen-oriented approach dampens its impact. It leaves a sense of missed opportunity, leaving me wishing there was more. But still, this movie delivers several standout moments, like the opening sequence with Anne Lorraine Warren. Overall, Annabelle Comes Home is a fun and stylish entry in the series, but its lighter tone and comedic elements hold back from reaching its full potential of its premise. It's a suspenseful ride, but one that could have been way more scary and more intense. Directed by Michael Chavez, released in 2023. This is the 8th installment in the Conjuring Universe, and the 3rd in the chronological timeline. This film is a significant improvement over its predecessor. Valak is terrifying once again, as we see her in her most brutal form, as she goes on a killing spree. Frenchie, who is Maurice, transformation from the comic relief from the first film to a tragic, sympathetic figure, is one of the film's highlights, adding an emotional depth. Sister Irene, backstory, and her growing connection to the larger Conjuring universe enriches her character, making her journey more compelling. This film has the absence of humor, particularly with Maurice. Although the second act drags slightly, the thrilling third act more than compensates, delivering an action-packed finale with high-stakes set pieces, towering demonic nuns, and intense scares. It's one of the most ambitious and exciting climaxes in the franchise. The film also expands the universe with a clever connection, including Easter eggs from The Conjuring 2 and hints about a shared bond between Sister Irene and Lorraine Warren. While The Nun 2 provides a satisfying closure, it leaves room for a continuation, particularly with the unsolved arc of Maurice's possession. Overall, The Nun 2 excels in chilling atmosphere, character-driven storytelling, and re-establishing Valak as a terrifying presence, which renews excitement for the Conjuring universe. Directed by James Wan, released in 2013, this is the first film in the Conjuring universe, and the 5th film in the chronological timeline. This film is a horror classic that set the foundations for an entire cinematic universe and terrified millions in the process. Among the franchise standout entries, this film, along with Annabelle Creation and The Conjuring 2, belongs to an elite tier of excellence. While the order might shift depending on preference, its placement here feels justified. This is the scariest film in the Conjuring universe and one of the top horror films of all time. Its masterful execution delivers some of the most iconic jump scares and features a third act that ranks among the genre's most terrifying climaxes. Despite its simplicity as a haunted house story, it elevates the formula into something fresh and unforgettable. While this makes a tightly focused and superior movie, its singular narrative can feel less engaging on repeat viewings, especially when compared to the broader, interconnected storytelling of the later films. This film remains as a cinematic masterpiece in horror, and is one of the finest horror films ever made. Directed by James Wan, released in 2016. This is the 3rd installment in the Conjuring universe, and the 7th film in the chronological timeline. This film is a rare sequel that not only lives up to the original, but also improves upon it, delivering a more emotional charged, deeply human story while expanding the universe in thrilling ways. What truly sets this film apart is how it deepens our emotional connection to the Warrens, the heart of the Conjuring universe. This time we see a more vulnerable side to the couple, especially Lorraine, whose fear for Ed's life adds an emotional layer that continues throughout the series. This film also introduces two of the most memorable villains in the universe, the sinister nun and the crooked man. James Wan's direction remains consistent with his style, bringing back some familiar techniques from the first film, while introducing a fresh atmosphere. The cold, eerie London setting during the winter, combined with the holiday season, creates a cozy, yet unsettling atmosphere, also making The Conjuring 2 feel like a Christmas horror movie, a unique vibe that works surprisingly well. The third act of The Conjuring 2 is more cinematic than its predecessor, with stakes that feel more higher. The tension surrounding Ed's survival and Lorraine's desperate attempt to save him makes for some of the most nail-biting moments in the entire franchise. It's a film that improves with each rewatch, offering new details and layers to appreciate, making one of the most rewatchable films in the series. Despite a minor flaw in the twist, The Conjuring 2 remains a standout film in the Conjuring universe. Directed by David F. Sandberg, released in 2017, this is the fourth installment of the Conjuring Universe and the second film in the chronological timeline. Just like The Conjuring 2, what sets Annabelle creation apart is its ability to make the audience care deeply for its characters. From the Mullen's grief to the vulnerability of the orphan girls, the film balances human drama with supernatural terror. The betrayal of Janice, a polio-stricken orphan, is particularly compelling. Her transformation after becoming possessed is both chilling and heart-wrenching. David F. Sandberg's rise to a horror director adds an inspiring layer to the film's legacy. Starting with YouTube horror shorts with his wife, Sandberg gained attention for his short Lights Out, which James Wan helped adapt into a full-length feature. Annabelle creation marks his second Hollywood film, and he delivered a standout entry that solidified his place as one of the genre's top directors. The film isn't afraid to push boundaries, delivering some of the franchise's most Buddha moments, including an eye being gouged out and a body being torn in half. What truly sets Annabelle creation apart is how it connects to the larger franchise. The film's ending, revealing that Janice, now fully possessed, escapes and becomes the murderous girl adopted in Annabelle's opening scene, is a masterstroke. This twist ties the two films together seamlessly. It's storytelling achievement that stands in the contrast to a less successful attempt in The Nun, where the connection between Maurice, Frenchie, and The Conjuring felt less impactful and earned. This ending is what makes this film number one. The Conjuring, Last Rites, is the fourth and final film in the main Conjuring series, making it the ninth installment in the Conjuring universe and the ninth in the chronological timeline. The film is expected to take place in the mid to late 1980s. Michael Chaves returns as the director, solidifying his position as the franchise's leading filmmaker, after helming The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, The Nun 2, and now this installment. While many fans, myself included, had hoped James Wan would return to conclude the series, Chaves continues to shape the future of the universe. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga replies their roles as Ada Lorraine Warren for one final outing. Two additional cast members have been announced, Mia Thomason and Ben Hardy. Mia will be the new face of Judy Warren, as Ben will play Judy's boyfriend Tony Spera, who is her real-life husband. The plot remains under wraps, though speculation suggests it could involve another supernatural case. It's unclear if this film will return to the haunted house formula of the first two films or lean into a broader scope seen in The Conjuring 3. Some fans theorize an Avengers Endgame-style climax featuring other franchises' iconic demons, a concept teased by the director himself. Additionally, there might be a deeper exploration of the connection between Lorraine Warren and Sister Irene, revealed in The Nun 2. Speaking of Sister Irene, there has been speculation about Taissa Farmiga joining the cast. Although not confirmed, IMDb has listed her involvement, and her appearance alongside her real-life sister, Vera Farmiga, could create a compelling connection and elevate the film's emotional weight. Filming began in early September of 2024, with the first set photos depicting Ada Lorraine attending what appears to be a funeral in London. Production wrapped November of 2024, with Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga sharing heartfelt social media posts, bidding farewell to their characters. One intriguing detail is that Patrick Wilson reportedly finished filming earlier than the rest of the cast, fueling rumors that The Last Rites may mark Ed Warren's death. This possibility has been subtly teased throughout the series and will deliver a deeply emotional conclusion to the Warren story. Stay tuned as more information emerges in the coming months, with trailers expected to debut soon. Mark your calendars for September 5th, 2025, to witness the final chapter in the Conjuring series. Now, what's next with the Conjuring Universe? As of now, it seems the Conjuring Universe films have largely wrapped up. The Annabelle series is complete. The main Conjuring storyline will conclude with The Last Rites, and while the Nun series could potentially continue, its future hinges on what unfolds in this final film. In 2023, it was announced that the Conjuring Universe would expand to the small screen with a TV series. However, details remain scarce. There is no word yet on the promise or direction of the show. Could this follow Marvel's approach, continuing storylines through episodic formats? Will we see new spin-off movies emerge from the series? At this point, the future of the Conjuring Universe is uncertain, and all depends on how Last Rites tie things together. For now, fans can only wait and speculate on what lies ahead. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Do you agree with this ranking? Share your own rankings of the Conjuring Universe in the comments, and let us know what you're hoping to see in The Last Rites.